So we are doing time series again. This time a little bit more in detail. You should be able to analyze the time series data with the features and with context. So we will examine the trend and seasonality, the two features, in more detail. So the features of time series again is the trend and the seasonality, or we call it the cycle. Okay, there's another one called variation. It's like more like an error or noise or unusual features, but we will discuss it later today. We are going to focus on the trend and the cycle or seasonality. Okay, so let's look at an example. This is the sunglass sales data set, and we will look at the trend first, okay? So just by a quick glance, you can tell that long term is increasing, right? How should we phrase it with right words and specific values? You might think that we should pick a few points in the graph and give their values. But actually, when you are looking at the trend, you should draw a trend line and construct your discussions based on the trend line. The trend line is like an average, so you should draw a highest line and the lowest line, and then have the trend line in between. So here's the highest, just approximate, okay, highest line, and here is the lowest, line that goes on the lowest points. Okay, so and then you want to draw a point about half the way through the highest and the lowest lines. Okay, so that's one, and on the other end you draw another point. Okay, and then you connect those two together. So there is the long-term trend line. It's in just approximation of the average. Okay, and you can say, just by looking at it, it's a positive or increasing trend. So for the overall trend, other than just increasing, decreasing, or stable, you want to give the start coordinate and the end coordinate. Okay, what I mean by that is this is the start coordinate and this one is the end coordinate. Okay, it's not this one here. Okay, the actual data set. Don't pick a point from the actual data set, but pick a point, the starting point of the trend line and end point of the trend line that you drew. Okay, so the start point, the coordinates are like about, okay, x coordinate is like middle of 2005, the year, okay, and on the y coordinate side there's the sales, and which is about $28 million. Okay, at the end coordinate, the year is about midway through 2010, and the sales is about $35 million, I would say. So what you can say is the sales of sunglasses is increasing from about 28 million per quarter in mid-2005 to about 35 million per quarter in mid-2010. Reasons for this increase could be, I don't know, like fashion trend changed, or income increase, or maybe sun getting hotter, whatever. Sun doesn't get hotter, maybe the summer is getting hotter, right? So that's the trend. How about seasonality? Okay, seasonality, you have to first identify if there is a repeating pattern or not. Okay, like this data here, okay, obviously has a pattern. Hold on, sorry. And you have to identify the peak and trough. Peak is the highest point, trough is the lowest. Okay, so again, here's the sunglass sales data, and I would assume it's a quarterly data. So the starting point, the purple ones, should be the third quarter, and the red one is fourth quarter, and the green one, it comes right above the year mark. So it should be the first quarter, and the blue one, the light blue, is second quarter. So the first, second, third, fourth. First, second, third, fourth. And this one here is just an enlargement of the average of the values of the each quarter. Okay, so it's like first, second, third, fourth, right? So this is the actual data. I will not go over it, but you got this graph from this data. Okay, so when you write about the cycle, you have to identify the cycle. If there is a cycle, identify the main peak and troughs, and discuss the trend of the peak and troughs and support numbers. Okay, right? For this sunglass data, you can say the lowest trough, the low trough, the trough, okay, is the third quarter, and the peak is the fourth quarter. You also have like the mid trough in the first quarter and mid peak in the second quarter. Okay, so this slide is about the cycle only, the seasonality only. But when you are asked to discuss both the trend and cycle, you should take both of them into consideration. Okay, how? One way of doing it is by comparing the peaks and the troughs. So like, for example, if you see those like peaks here, peaks going up, and then leveling out. Troughs going up and peaks up and leveling out, right? And troughs again going up and up and up and up and up all the way through 2010 and 11, right? So this is how you can phrase it. In the fourth quarter each year, the maximum amount of sales is going up for the years 2005 to 2008. And for low troughs, this happens in the third quarter each year, with the sales increasing over the period 2005 and 2010. So we are now on the last two slides. They show what a full analysis writing would look like. So let's read it. The sunglasses data shows clear evidence of a cycle or seasonal pattern. So you identify the cycle. The peak amount of sales occurs in the fourth quarter. Okay, that's the peak. And give the exact value, ranging from $32 to $40 million, as shown with the red lines. Okay, dropping off before slightly rising, then dropping again to the lowest sales of that year in the third quarter. So that's a trough, okay, ranging between $24 to $31 million. Okay, they are shown with the blue lines. And continue, the general trend is that the maximum sales increases from 2005 to 2008 before leveling off, and the minimum sales also increases from 2005 to 2010. Okay, the gap between the minimum and maximum is getting smaller over this time period. So the last part, the gap part, the gap between minimum and maximum, this is part of variation. It's the third feature we will have to look at, other than trend and cycle. So we will discuss it sometime later, right? And then you have to add the context and explanation of why this cycle of seasonal trend occurs is, again, like a fashion trend, income increase, or summer getting hotter, or whatever. Okay, right, that's it.